customer service and marketing is really important right now. Like, people are not shopping for tattoos the way they used to. They're not walking into shops and looking at portfolios, and that people are being precious about their money. They have less money right now. They still want a tattoo, and they're deciding, if I'm going to spend money, I'm going to spend it on something good.
Welcome back to the Artful Dollar Podcast. I have a very interesting individual with us today, Austin Maples. You may have heard of him. We got in touch with each other, about a year ago? A little bit more?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
We are both deeply passionate about tattooers becoming financially stable and successful and achieving all of their dreams and goals. It's rare that I encounter another tattooer that's as nerdy as I am about the money and the marketing and the finance and the taxes and the investing and all the things, the branding. And so I feel like you're a bit of a kindred spirit, Austin. That's what I think of you.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I called you in the first place.
Yeah, cool. Well, for anyone out there that doesn't know who you are, you own a shop. You're a fucking sick traditional tattooer. I feel like you have a very strong brand, and I feel like that has served you well. I'm actually really curious to talk a little bit about how that came to be, what you even think brand is, because it's something that a lot of people have a different definition of. And then you've got this really cool project called the Eagle Management that helps tattooers just organize their financial life. And you've got a really cool app that you walk me through. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But what do you want people, someone who doesn't know who Austin is, what should they know?
I mean, if you don't know who I am, and this is mostly tattooers, I'm just a normal tattooer. Started from the ground up.
With a sick stash. That's it. Just normal tattooer with a sick stash.
Yeah, focus on American traditional. I think I've found a place in tattooing that is really comfortable. I think that a lot of tattooers want to be, like, staying busy and have great clients and good customer retention. And I love tattooing. I mean, I love the art of it. I love doing it. I love the tattoo shop. I love the community.
Why do you love tattooing?
This is a really weird one. I started tattooing because of the clients, which was a little bit backwards. Like, I wasn't very good at drawing when I got offered an apprenticeship, but I really loved being in the shop and, like, watching the intimate connections between tattoo artists and clients.
When did you start tattooing?
When I was 18, but my dad owned a restaurant growing up. I started working there when I was 9 years old. And I knew I really liked customer service. Like, I wanted to work front of house, and they always wanted me in the kitchen. And I just wanted to be around people. And I liked serving people food and, like, talking to customers. And I always really liked that. And I knew I liked people. I knew I wanted to do something, like, with people and interacting with humans.
Yeah.
And when I got offered an apprenticeship, I told him, like, I can't even draw, man. Like, I don't think I'd be a good tattooer. But he saw something there that, came to fruition later that I didn't realize. But
what was that? What did he see that came to fruition later?
I asked my mentor later, like, what he saw in me, and he said his words were, it was style. He was like, you were getting a lot of tattoos, you picked really good ones, like really interesting ones, and you always had really good feedback on my drawings, on his drawings. Yeah. And he's like, I could tell that you couldn't draw what your brain was seeing, but your brain was seeing something, like, unique. And he was like, I knew I could teach you how to draw, and I knew I could teach you how to do tattoos, but one thing you can't teach is style, and you definitely had it.
Yeah, and I can see that. I see that in the work that you do. Also, I've seen that book that you've put together, the collection. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like it embodies your eye for style, for images that are powerful and resonate with people. So, yeah, I think that he's right. You can't teach that, but that definitely helps. And you can draw your ass off, but if you don't have that, there's a lot of really talented illustrators out there that tattoo, but they don't necessarily have that vision that you have.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone can learn how to draw. I mean, that's why art school exists. I think there's a lot of mechanics to it, but there's a difference between, like, copying and creating, and I think, and there's no wrong way to create, but unfortunately we work in, like, a consumer business. So if you're not creating things people want to consume, then And I think that's where the word style comes in, is like style is also subjectively maybe consumer. Like for it to be in style, everybody needs to like it, or a group of people need to enjoy it. It's not just one person. Maybe you can have your own style, I think, but um, yeah, I don't think you like. I see it all the time. Like there's people I've seen get into tattooing, and when they're like about to get in, I can tell they're a good tattooer like before they've even done them. It's usually like how they interact with people, like if they're just confident in themselves and like in communicating, and they have good style. It could even be like how they dress or the music they listen to or like the type of tattoos they're wearing. I can just tell, like you'll be able to figure out some avenue to go down.
What percentage of being a successful tattoo artist, we're not going to say good or bad tattoo artist, but what percentage of being a successful tattoo artist, how important do you think communication is?
I would say it's, oh man,
If you had to give it a number.
I'd say over 50%, but the caveat to it is being successful. Let's just use financially successful because it's a job. I would say 50% if you're really good, if you're really good at tattooing. I think if you're somebody that struggles with like the artistic side, but you're really good at mechanically doing clean tattoos, then I'd say like 80%.
Gotcha. There's a balance there. I've always felt my approach to life, and it's just the way I see the world, is like there isn't an area of my life that will not significantly improve with the improvement of my ability to communicate in that area. So like I could learn to get better at tattooing, I can learn to get better at marketing. You know, marketing at the end of the day is solely communication. That's all it is. And I just, relationships, me and my wife communicating, I've always prioritize that skill set, and I look at it like a skill set. I prioritize that above everything else in my life. That's just how I've approached the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the most important thing to me, but there's so many, I mean, when I'm saying 50%, that's a majority of your business. Think about everything you have to do as a tattoo artist. Like you got to be good at drawing, you got to have the right machines, you got to keep supplies, you got to do emails and all this other acumen stuff, and all of those are broken down into small percentages. And
right. I think you could be really great at all those things, but if you're lacking in the area of communication, everything you're trying to accomplish, and again, we're deeming successes like you're booked out, you're making money, you're financially, I think you're going to struggle in your goal of achieving whatever level you want to get to if that area is not developed.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to work in a shop with tattooers. Like, if you're not good at communicating, they don't even want to work with you. Now you don't even have a job. Like, if your clients don't want to talk to you or come back or feel comfortable getting tattooed by you, then you have no customer retention. If you can't sound eloquent or even just kind in an email, like, you may not get a response. Like, it does. It's a huge part. I think it's a majority. But, then comes the tattoo. If you do a shitty tattoo, or they get an infection, or they just don't even like what they got, and you were nice, they're probably not going to come back either. So I think it's
sure, absolutely.
Short. But this kind of leads me into like one of the things I talk with my coworkers a lot about. But I really compare tattooing to restaurants a lot, which feels sometimes weird, but it makes a lot of sense to me. I think, especially right now, like, there's more tattooers and tattoo shops than ever. And there's also more people wanting a tattoo than ever. Like, there's some statistic, I think 15 years ago, it was like 1 to 2 out of 10 people wanted a tattoo or had a tattoo. Now it's like 9 out of 10 people want a tattoo or have a tattoo. Yeah. And now there's, just where my shop is, there's 5 shops within walking distance, like, of the same shop. And you think about restaurants, like on my street, there's probably 100 restaurants. All of them have customers, and all of them have a different, what you were going to, like a brand and an offering. And everybody wants to eat, and they all choose which restaurant to go to differently. And all of them stay open, and all of them survive. But I think that's one thing that's like missing in the change in tattooing right now, is the focus of, and it goes to the brand, but it's like, who am I, and who is my clientele? Your clientele, if you want it to be everyone, it's a really difficult market to try and cover.
Right. It's like opening up a restaurant that serves sushi and pizza, and burgers and lasagna.
Yeah, I mean, it exists. Like, if you want to be the Olive Garden of tattooing, like, get it. But I think most artists don't want that. That's the thing, is like, we're artists and we want to be
And it used to make sense to do that.
Yeah.
Right? It used to be sense to offer sushi and pizza and be pretty good at everything. And I think there's a lot of artists that took a lot of pride in that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I definitely grew up in street shops where I had to learn everything. I remember the first time I did a koi fish. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to look like, but sure, let's fucking do a koi fish,
Yeah, I mean, that's how it was for me, but I think that's because there was no other way to shop. Like, for tattoos,
right,
you had
right.
magazines at Walmart, and then other than that, you had to walk in and look at a portfolio. And if somebody wanted Japanese and every portfolio had Japanese, they'd pick the best dude that did Japanese, but he also has traditional and fine line and everything. And you want to be the artist that's best at everything. So when people walk in, they always pick you, and you're the busiest guy at the shop. But it doesn't work that way anymore. People shop online, and they want. I find this a lot with tattoo artists, even with Eagle Management, where they struggle to stay busy in their city. And I see, as a tattoo artist, like, you're phenomenal. You can do everything, like 10 out of 10. But I think what the client sees is they're like, oh, I want a traditional tattoo, but what if I got a Japanese one on accident? And like, that's obviously not going to happen, but they don't know that. They just go to the guy that is all traditional because that's what they wanted. And they're like, oh, he's an expert in this. That's his focus. And that's what they see. But
what about, like, so a comment that I receive a lot on Instagram, sometimes from extremely notable tattoo artists, is that at the end of the day, your quality of your work is the number one thing that matters. And I'm not going to say that it's not, but that if you're not busy right now, it's because you're somehow either out of touch with what people want, or your quality of work isn't where it needs to be. And I always push back a little bit on that, because I talk to so many tattoo artists that are up at a tier of tattooing that almost nobody's ever able to achieve, and yet they're still not booking out. So I know from what I've seen is it's just not just, oh, do good tattoos, but I hear that a lot. Just do good tattoos and you're going to stay busy. Do you subscribe to that? Do you think what would you say, there's something missing from that?
Well, I don't know. That's hard, because like, I think when I think of that spectrum you're talking about, like, when I go all the way to the bottom of that spectrum of like, you got work to do on your tattoos, like, yeah, I would say it makes sense there, but it's hard to nail down, like, where are we on that scale? Like,
well, let's say someone's way on the other end of that scale. And I've talked to people that were making 10 to 15K 2 years ago. I talked to a guy literally last week. He was making 10 to 15K 2 years ago. He's making maybe 4 to 5K a month now. And he's stressed, And his work is fucking clean, like really fucking nice work.
Well, that's where I was going with this. We can start there, but I think that's all business acumen. And like, I think that's the biggest thing that changed in tattooing, is like, we are now seen as a big business, whether people want it to be that way or not. And our consumers have changed. Now it's not just the 2% of fringe culture artists. Most older tattooers are marketing to a market of people that don't think tattoos are very cool anymore, and are usually not making enough money right now in this economy to even acquire a tattoo. And if they did, they're just like, everyone's covered in tattoos now. This isn't like a punk, like, fringe culture thing. And I find a lot of those clients aren't getting tattooed. But then there's these new, like, 8 people out of those 10 wanting a tattoo, and they're looking for tattoos. It's new to them. They're not used to the old way. They're hunting on Instagram, they're shopping on websites, and I think for them, they're viewing it differently. And for me, I'm getting busier and busier every year than I was the year
How
before.
booked out are you right now?
I book 6 months at a time, so I open up my books, but I gauge being busier on like how many people don't fit into the books and how fast it fills up. So like this last 6 months I just opened in August, I was worried that I wouldn't fill up because my coworkers are slow, and I was like, oh, maybe it's going to hit me this time. But we got enough response in the first 2 minutes to fill the 6 months,
So now what I'm interested in is like, what are the 2 or 3 things that you're doing that maybe someone else, maybe someone who does the same style of tattooing that you do, and let's say is comparable in skill set. What are the things that you're doing that maybe that person isn't doing? Let's hear it.
Well, I think from a business acumen side, it's mailing list. Like for the last 6 years, I've been building a mailing list, and I only correspond with people that want tattoos over a mailing list. I don't ever post on Instagram that I have availability or I'm opening the books. Haven't done that in like 6 years. So it's all over email, which is what every business.
Now that's because of something you started. How long have you been building this email list?
Like over 6, maybe 7 years now.
Yeah.
And I started doing it because of a clothing company I owned, and I saw how much like return customer I could get just by being able to email them again and say, hey, we have a new drop, and then I sell out of my clothes.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with tattooing. I was booking at the time like on a quarterly basis and opening my books, and I realized like, oh, this would be a lot easier if I could just post it there. And that worked 7 years ago, where I'd fill 3 months at a time just on my mailing list.
How often do you touch base with your mailing list?
Leading up to like the drop of appointments, I'll do like 3 emails, but that's it. I'll say like, hey, January 1st, we're going to release stuff. We'll send another update soon. Like, watch your emails. And then we'll send another one. Like,
3 emails in 1 month?
Yeah, like leading up to it. Kind of
leading up to it. Okay. No, that's what I was curious about, like the specific nitty-gritty data, how many emails are being sent out. And then they're not going to get another email from you for about 6 months?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Usually. Yeah, so I'll tell them like January 1st, watch your emails. Then I'll send one January 1st, 10 a.m. This will be the link, mark your calendars. And then January 1st, 10 a.m., like appointments are live. Here's the link, book in, and then refill. But I also use the email list like way deeper than that. There is other people I reach out to. So I'll build like a VIP list in there who are people that complete large projects or spend a lot of money throughout the year that I really appreciate, and I'll tag them differently, and sometimes I'll give them
what software are you using for your email list?
I use MailChimp.
You use MailChimp. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like MailChimp. I think it's the easiest one for tattooers to use. It's just kind of no-brainer.
Usually the one that I recommend, yeah.
Yeah, and it's free up to a certain amount. I have to pay now because of how many people we have on there, but
it literally makes you money, so it's not an expense, it's an investment.
Yeah, for 5 years it was free, which is insane. And so like VIP customers, I'll offer them like 20% off any appointment they book this year, and I'll give them first dibs to the appointments. And
okay, cool.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do special flash events for them. Like I'll say, hey, I'm going to do one weekend this year where I'm only doing flash for you guys, and it's at a discounted rate, and you don't have to fight with people over the appointments.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I use Co-Create as my booking platform because it's really easy for people to go in and like pick their own date and time. I think that's another big thing is like people are really avoidant to like changing their system, but my customers tell me how much they appreciate how easy it is to book an appointment.
Dude, that's what I tell tattooers all the time. Like, you make it so hard for someone to just get in an appointment, get in a consultation, get in anything. It's the friction. I look at it as like friction. So if there's a lot of friction, if someone has to reach out to you, if someone has to talk back and forth about a schedule versus clicking a button and seeing the availability and selecting what works for them, which you want to reduce the friction on the front end as much as possible. Now, you might not want anyone booking in on your calendar, right? You might not be a qualified client. So, having the right amount of friction, reducing friction for the people you want to work with, increasing friction for maybe new people that you're not sure you want to work with.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like the program I'm using, Co-Create, because if they want a custom tattoo, they have to send an inquiry, but I can very quickly read the inquiry as more information than I used to ask and say, this is great, send a deposit and pick a time.
Now, Co-Create, I don't know a lot about it. I've talked to a couple different companies that are like more focusing on tattoo artist scheduling, but they don't work with every tattoo artist. Is that correct, or am I wrong about that?
You have to apply. It's mostly safety, like just kind of background
Sure.
checking that someone's
Gotcha.
good.
They're not going to deny you because you're not
That's just
some
time or
upper
something.
echelon, right?
Yeah.
They just want to make sure you're a quality artist.
Yeah, and that you're a
Cool.
safe person. I think it's mostly
That makes
just
sense.
safety. Like they're 50-50 client tattooer focused. So they want to help clients find the best artist, and
Yeah.
they're definitely positioning themselves like we're helping customers find a good person for them,
Sure.
and want to make sure they're putting good people in front of them. But yeah, I mean, just friction, like just making shit easy. All of it is easy. Like if somebody has to see your Instagram post to book an appointment, what if they didn't see it? If somebody, they can just see it in their email. And if in their email, it's very clear what they need to do. And then when they go to do it, if the thing they need to do is easy, it's not like download this questionnaire and fill it out with a pencil and scan it and send it back to me, or,
Right. Send me
whatever it is.
a messenger pigeon, and I'll get back to you. One time I saw someone. They were I was DMing with them about they were like not booked out as much as they wanted to be, and then I sent them a message, and their autoresponder hit me back, and their autoresponder said, "Will reply within 5 days," and I was like, "All right, if you're straight up letting people know that you're gonna reply within 5 days, you're complaining about not being booked out, like." You need speed. You need speed to capture that person in the moment that they're interested.
That was the next place I was getting to. And this all goes into like investing into your own company. Like I was so scared to hire an assistant because I didn't make that much money, but I realized that really early. Like I've had an assistant for probably 11 years now, and 11 years ago I wasn't even that busy, but I wasn't sober yet. I was answering emails drunk. I was like double booking myself. Like it was
Like,
fucking
I just need to pay someone to not answer emails drunk for me.
yeah, seriously, that's what I did, and it was all about getting back to people too, because sometimes I wouldn't look at my email and I did no appointments,
Yeah.
and somebody was like, "Hey, do you have time tomorrow?" And then I'm like, "I did. I was sitting here, but I didn't read the email."
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, and just directing people through one stream. I only book appointments via email, and my assistant captures all the emails, and now we do it through Co-Create, but when people email us, she just sends a link like, this is awesome, can you just push it through here and we'll capture deposit and we'll get it done.
Now, I will say, I think that works extremely well when you've built up to that point.
Totally.
But if you've got an open week of bookings next week, don't force people to email you. I feel like just having that, don't make them leave if you're talking to them on Instagram, continue to talk to them on Instagram. If they submitted a form on your website, then continue to email back and forth. But again, you just want to make it as easy as possible for people.
Well,
So meet
this
them
was
where they're
my
at.
answer for people at the top of that scale you're talking about. Like, I think there's different things people should do. Like, I think if you're not busy and you have no
But it takes that time to build. I'm saying they're top of the scale in terms of talent, but they have availability next week.
Well, I think that people, if I was to take somebody at the top that, let's say they have a big following, they have a great offering, they were a very like professional tattooer that was busy that now isn't. I think there's so much business acumen that's not being taken advantage of in tattooing. Like one is meta advertising. Like what?
Oh my God, yeah.
Our group, like we're in a business model that is like I'm one of maybe 10 people I know that take advantage of actual meta advertising, not boost posts, like real funnels
Facebook
and
Ads
buckets.
Manager, yeah.
Yeah, and nobody's using it. Like you think about someone like trying to sell a T-shirt, you're competing with every T-shirt company in the fucking world.
So I'm a total nerd for learning about people's funnels. Could you describe your funnel?
Well, I actually use a meta ad manager. Like I have a manager that does it for me, but it all starts with, well, I don't do this for tattoos. I only do it for my merchandise, for clothing.
Okay,
But
gotcha. But you could apply it. Yeah, you don't need to apply it for tattoos, but understanding the fundamentals of a funnel. Like my funnel is pretty simple. It's like I run ads that don't sell anything. I just run ads to tell you that, hey, if you're interested in this, give my page a follow.
Yeah.
And literally, I tell tattooers to do this all the time. Like, just run an ad that's not selling tattoos at all. It's just showing off what you do, talking to people so they get a sense of who you are. And if you're interested, give me a follow. tattooers were getting like less than 20 cents a follower sometimes, which is an incredibly low price to pay for a quality lead. Now, not all of those people are going to get tattoos from you, but in general, that's top of funnel. And then you have a retargeting ad that retargets them with, you know, either some promotion or availability or a specific project. I like to make ads that are like specific, you know, solve a particular problem or for a particular avatar, and then retarget your followers in that. And then I have like clear call to action ads down at the bottom, which is just all the people that are like real hot and ready and wanting to work with you. They just, whatever, they're out walking their dog and they're not on Instagram. Then all of a sudden they come on, your ad sees them. They're like, cool, I want that specific project. Boom, let's book it. I mean, that's kind of how I break down a tattoo funnel.
I haven't done this, but let's say somebody had 80,000 followers and they have no appointments. I would focus on the mailing list. I would make an ad that says like, hey, I'm going to open my availability only through my mailing list. And this is how you sign up, and make it easy, like one click, put your email in and it's on the ad. And I would push that out because you're probably only reaching 2 to 8% of your following. Make sure you reach 100% of your following so everyone captures into the funnel. And now you can, for free, reach out to those people and say, these are appointments available. And that's one upfront cost.
I like that idea. I like that. Retarget them and say, hey, you know, sign up to the mailing list to get priority bookings. You know, like you want to incentivize them to take the action that you want them to take, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. But for me, it's all mailing lists and customer service. Like, and I think customer service for me, going back to how I started tattooing and just liking the people, like I've been tattooing the same people for 15 years. Like most of my appointments are still the exact same people. I tattooed someone on Friday that I gave her first tattoo in 2011. And that's my clientele. And
how much of your clientele is new people that you've never tattooed before?
Because I have like a democratized booking system, like I let everybody go at the calendar, I'd say like my diehard clients always get the most appointments, and that's on them. They're just the first ones on the website.
Sure.
But I would say like 20% trickle in each time that are brand new, and they're usually starting something big, like a sleeve or a back piece, and they book.
Because that's one type of avatar that I've encountered quite a few times. Usually they're like a large-scale Japanese tattoo artist, and they've been booked out solid for the past 10 years. And then 2 years ago, they noticed that they went from 6 months to 3 months, and then 3 months to a month, and then all of a sudden they have availability simply because they went through all of their bigger projects and they're done, and they aren't getting new people into the funnel, essentially. I've talked to a couple artists with that situation. So apparently 88% of listeners have not left a review or subscribed. And I'm going to get right back to the podcast in just a second. But if you have found this episode helpful and you think that other people would benefit from listening, then all I ask in return is please just leave a quick review and subscribe. It'll take just 1 minute, and it might help other tattooers and other artists find this podcast and help them out. So please, it would mean the world to me, and it might actually make a difference for someone else. Thanks.
I hear people complaining about Instagram a lot, like Instagram doesn't work, but what Instagram changed it to is a business tool, and it knows you're a business and it wants you to use the tools. And if you don't use the tools, it's going to punish you. Like if you're seeing 2 to 8% of your following like interacting, that means the other 92% are not even seeing your shit. They still want tattoos, they still want to follow you. They just don't remember that you're not showing up. And you have to pay to play, and that's the unfortunate thing. But when you pay, you get to play. And for me, like, I see you talking about, you know, how to make good marketing videos and stuff, and I agree with all of it. And I think a lot of tattooers have, this is like my ethos of it. Like, I used to not want to do the same thing because I want the big dogs to like me because I worked really hard to like be in the same circle and same room as them. But I love tattooing more than anything. I didn't even get to know who those big dogs were until after I decided I loved tattooing enough to put this effort in. And I can't tattoo if somebody isn't sitting in the chair across from me. And if I have to do this to continue tattooing, then I'm going to do that because I love tattooing. I'm not going to give up tattooing because I don't want to make a video, or I don't want to learn about business, or I don't want to make an advertising, or I don't want to spend money on having better customer service, or like, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm not going to stop tattooing. I love tattooing. Whatever I got to do to get someone to sit in the seat, whether they're working in tech or there's some punk kid that like I have more in common with, I don't care. I just want to do the tattoo. But I think the difference about me is I love people. Like I hear a lot of tattooers complain, like, I love tattooing, but like customers are like the hardest part. But I like the customer thing. I spend a lot of time, every new client that comes in, I schedule like at least a half an hour to make like a connection with them. I sit down, drink a coffee or have a soda water, and like talk to them about their day, and I can tell when they're calm. You know, people come in nervous, so I just connect with them, and when I see them relax, like, oh, I like this guy, we're comfortable, then I say like, oh, let's talk about what you want to get today.
I will say, Austin, you have charmed my wife. My wife is a big fan of you. She's like, I like Austin. He's a nice guy. I like him. Yeah, like every conversation we've had, she's left like, he's such a lovely guy to talk to. Like, you have that effect on people, and that goes so fucking far. And I think that there's a lot of people that don't even realize that there's some way, it's not an intention, and they're not even aware that there's just an energy, a vibe that's coming off that's not making people feel completely at ease, completely welcome, and ready to, you know, work with you and keep going. And that's why I tell people to make videos, is because if someone walks in the shop, they're going to talk to you and they're going to get a sense of that, right? But if someone isn't there yet, how do we get them to that point? It's like, well, let's translate that same experience through content so that when someone comes across your profile, they don't just see a Cherry Creek flash rack. They get a vibe check of you as a person, in addition to, you know, seeing that your work is sick.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think all down to the new customer. Like, if the new customers are not tattoo collectors and like punk kids and fringe culture, that is what it is. Like, the people spending money right now are new customers, and they're fucking scared. Like, I'm far removed from what it's like to get tattooed. Like, I don't know what it's like to be scared of a tattoo shop.
That stash is intimidating. It is I'm like afraid. But then I talk to you and I'm like, oh, okay, I have nothing to be afraid of. No, but like, whatever you look like, it doesn't matter. I think people in general, it's not even about being afraid. People are a bit intimidated. They put tattooers up on this pedestal. And so they feel like they're coming at the conversation from somewhere here, and they think we're cool. They think we're, I don't know, whatever it is that they think, but they put us up. I went clothes shopping one time. This is like 10 years ago. And I happened to have bags of tattoo supplies. I was just picking up some supplies at Unimax. I went into this store. Everyone's like, oh, you're a tattoo artist? They started giving me discounts on shit. I never tattooed anybody. Just the fact that they didn't know if my work was good or anything. It probably wasn't at the time.
So funny.
But they put you up on this pedestal. And so I always try to tell people, like, imagine from the client's perspective, they might be afraid to reach out to you. They might love your work and they're afraid to reach out to you. So bring yourself down, make yourself approachable, and then you're going to be the artist that more people are approaching simply because you intentionally made yourself more approachable by sharing content.
And I think that's why the mailing list works. Like, when people receive an email from you, like, hey, I want to tattoo you. This is what I'm going to do, and this is how you can come in. It's like you're bridging that gap. Like, for somebody to reach out to you first, yeah, they're nervous, and they might feel like their question's stupid, or like they can't ask it, or they don't know if you do cover-ups and they really want one, and also, like, I try to keep this in mind, like, most tattooers that I know don't deliver the best customer service, and I have to unwrite that a lot of the times with my clients. Like, they've had bad experiences, they're expecting to have it again, and I have to like remind myself that there's that. And it might not even be something a tattoo artist noticed. Like, it might have just been the other people in the shop at the last shop they were at.
Or
a conversation they heard, or whatever. But
totally,
I think to brass tacks, it's like customer service and marketing is really important right now. Like, people are not shopping for tattoos the way they used to. They're not walking into shops and looking at portfolios and that people are being precious about their money. They have less money right now. They still want a tattoo, and they're deciding, if I'm going to spend money, I'm going to spend it on something good. And that could be a good experience. And the next step of that, I think, is like, as a tattooer, I feel like we compare ourselves to each other a lot. But remembering, if somebody followed you or somebody emailed you or DM'd you, they chose you as their favorite tattooer that day. And you may compare yourself to someone you think is better than you, but that person doesn't think that. They think you're the best in the fucking world, and you're the person to tattoo them, and they chose you. And you have to, like, value yourself that way too. Like, I think a lot of tattooers, showing up with confidence is what I'm talking about. Like, be confident. Like, be confident in how you book appointments, how you talk to people, and your kindness and your work. And, you know, marketing is such an interesting thing, because I think a lot of stuff early when you started doing that, like about being funny and showing your face, like that stuff works really well, because it does. But one thing I tell my coworkers that aren't interested in that, they're like, I don't want to present myself that way. I tell them, like, dude, you're a creative. Come up with something creative then. Like, show who you are differently. You don't have to do
what everyone else is doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But do something. Do something. Yeah.
Exactly. And
do you here? We're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna rate your marketing strategy based on my scale. Okay. But aside from the mailing list, what else are you doing to attract new clients, would you say? There's a question I ask people when I get on a call, and I say, all right, pretend I were to fly out and hang out with you for a week, or maybe in your case a month, because I don't know if you're doing something. What would I see Austin doing or in place that is a thing that attracts clients?
That's the thing, is I have a mailing list.
The mailing list is the main thing, right?
Well, I have more clients than I can tattoo on the mailing list. Like, if I gave everybody one tattoo, I'd be booked out for 75 years.
Sure.
So I don't do marketing, but I talk to my coworkers about it a lot, because I know what I would do. Like, if I was slow right now, I know exactly what I would do.
Right, I would fucking shovel shit if I had to. If that's what it fucking took, I'll do what it... Now, don't go out and shovel shit, but I always tell people, like, do what it takes. Don't just sit around waiting for something to change. This is my
marketing strategy for them. My marketing strategy is terrible, because I just use my mailing list and I fill my appointments. Tons of people don't get appointments. They get mad at me, so I don't look for more clients, because I can't even appease the ones that I have, which is a really good problem to have, but it is all comes down to, like, customer retention. Like, 90% of the people on there have been tattooed by me, and they want more because they like the experience, and the tattoo was good. It's everything. It's like, I did a good tattoo, it healed well, I checked up on them, I gave them a good experience when they booked last time, they had a great shop.
Here's if I were to rank your marketing strategy, I'm sure there's other things that you are doing that you're probably not even aware of, but here's how I rank it. I'm like, all right, I'm looking for three things. I'm looking for structure. Like, is there something that you do, and the way you do it the same way, more or less, over and over again? Structure makes it easier for you to repeat an action multiple times, right? So your email list, there's a good amount of structure for that. Mm-hmm. In the way that you do. You know you're going to send out 3 emails. The fact that you do that, a lot of people are sending out 1 email and they don't get that many bookings, and they're wondering why. It's like, no, there's 3, because usually people don't buy on the first or the second. More people they need that reminder. Also, I bet people that get on your mailing list, the first time they go through that, they might not submit a request, but they might do it on the next round. But now they're familiar with the process. So structure makes it easy for you to continue to do the same thing over and over. The next thing I'm looking for is systems. So a system is something that does something for you automatically. I don't know if you have any automation built into the email process. Do you?
I mean, I have an assistant.
So, okay, great. So an assistant would be, it's something that does something for you. Yeah. So absolutely, your assistant is a big part of your system. So you have that. And then the third thing I'm looking for is consistency. Not for a week or 2 or a month or 2, but month after month and year after year. And so while you're not doing all the things that you could be doing, you also don't need to do all the things. You have a high level of structure, you have a high level of systems in place, and you have a high level of consistency because you've been doing it that way. And that's why I would say, all right, Austin, your marketing. That's why it's working. Because I don't like to just know that something's working for someone. I like to actually look at why is this working for someone. And so that makes sense.
Well, I have a system underneath everything you explained. Like our emails are templatized. We have the same information in every one. The
Templates,
way that you book is
boom.
like flash, half day, full day. I have a system for exactly what you can receive in those days and what it will look like. Price the same. And anybody that doesn't book this time knows next time they come, the same option will be there and they can think about which one they want.
That makes them familiar with the process, which makes it easier for them to make a decision on the next time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think another thing that I do that's really important for tattooers that I fucking hate that when people don't do this is I always talk about price up front. Like there's nowhere in the world that you go to buy something that they don't tell you what it costs, except for a 3 Michelin star restaurant might not have the prices on the menu, but you kind of know what you're going to pay. But it's like people need to, it doesn't matter what you charge. Like you can charge nothing or $1 million, but you have to give someone the choice to pay it. And they have to choose and have transparency on what they're going to spend.
Where and when do they get familiar with your pricing in your process? When, and how does that happen?
If they're new to the mailing list, that first email would explain it. Like,
okay, great.
Next month we're booking. These are the options, the prices, and what you get for them. Yeah. And then it would be explained again.
So here's what I would say. Here's what I would say is I have no problem with that at all. I think it's great. Pricing, where I would put the price is gonna depend on a couple different things. It depends on the price. It also depends on how booked out you are. So by putting it in the first email, that's an immediate qualifier. You don't even want them to consider opening up the rest of the emails if that doesn't work for them. But you're so booked out. Now, if someone was not so booked out, I would not say to put it right up front on the first email in that way. I would let them know, like, what's my general pricing range or what is my hourly rate or however. Give them some idea. Don't make it a completely oblivious thing. But I would say get them on a phone call. Like, for someone that's not booked out, again, I would say get them on a phone call. Just have a quick 10-minute conversation with them. Give them a broad price range so they know what to expect to say, look, the best way that we can really dial in exactly what you want and give you an accurate price would be for you to come in and do a consultation. And then if they're willing, if they've heard the price range, right, if they're working within a budget, they'll let you know and you can act accordingly. But if they're serious enough to then come in for that consultation, it's a lot easier to sell them on an accurate price that matches the value of your work in that scenario than it does like through a DM. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, my old system before I was booked out was a questionnaire and it was simple over email. Like, I think first it's like touch them quick, touch them nice. Like you emailed, you get a response. Hello, this is Tony.
That's what we're going to name this episode. Touch them quick, touch them nice.
Yeah. Yeah, be kind and let them know you want to tattoo them and then say like, could you please just tell me a little bit more information so we can get it going? And like, I would ask like, what do you want? Color, black and gray, where on your body, about how big. I even had a little photo square of 4 tattoos. Like, is it closest to size A, B, C, or D?
I like that. That's really awesome. Yeah.
This was like 11 years ago. This was the email I would send. And then I would say, what's
awesome.
Your budget? And then my assistant had a key to the square. She knew what I charged for A, B, C, and D. If they picked D and their budget was way off, then we'd have a conversation like, hey, D cost about this, but that's because of like placement on the body and also detail. We can totally do something in your price range, but it might look different if you love that tattoo. Are you willing to like go up a little bit in price? And they can kind of choose where they want to sit. And, you know, that would be a point where she'd come to me like, hey, can you do this for this price? We'd decide maybe I would talk to them or not. But I think the budget thing also really helped me with realizing like how much people appreciated me. Like I wasn't charging people what their budget was, but it helped me charge what I wanted to. Because sometimes I'd do a tattoo and want $600 and then I'd be like, oh, I didn't tell them what it was going to cost. Like maybe $450 is more fair, and I would always undercut myself. But when I started asking people what their budget was, and I'd see like, oh, your budget's $1,000, and I wanted $600, I feel comfortable charging 600. I'm not going to overcharge people. Don't rip people off, but don't rip yourself off either. And it made me feel comfortable realizing, oh, these people are valuing this tattoo more than I even value it, and I'm actually giving them a discount because they wanted to spend $1,000.
That's the thing with business and marketing. It's not like there's one way to do things. So I'm going to challenge what you just said, but I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. For anyone listening out there who's like, but in like marketing and sales, generally the rule is whoever says the price first wins. And so when you ask people their budget before you offer any kind of price estimate, they anchor themselves to whatever they thought the price should be. And sometimes that anchor came from some other artist that they talked to that charges way differently than you do. Mm-hmm. And so once they've said the price to you, they've anchored the price to there. And if you're like, you're at 400, something like that's really going to be like $1,000. All of a sudden, there's no way that they're going to come up from 400 to 1,000. But if we say, hey, this piece is probably going to be somewhere between 800 and 1,200, does that work for you? And they're like, I was really thinking something like more like 400. And then just simply asking like, okay, cool, no problem. Like we can make something work for that price. But just so I'm clear, is your priority to keep it more like we originally talked about? Or is your priority to stay within the 400 budget? And then that way they get clear on, oh, right, okay, we can do it, but it's going to have to sacrifice this thing. And you're not pressuring them into paying more money than they want to pay. But because you've said the price first, you've anchored the price higher, and it's easier to stay high when you've anchored the price rather than to get high because they've anchored the price first. This is just like a psychological, marketing and sales. Yeah.
No, I think it makes sense. And I think like I've been in a unique situation. I didn't experience that. It was usually people wanted to spend more money than I was even going to charge them.
Well, that's often the case as tattooers are like, my clients always say, that's it. When I give them the price, I'm like, you know what that means? It means you're undercharging. Like,
yeah. And that helped me like build confidence and also just realize how much other people valued me. Cause I used to choose my value based on people I looked up to. And I'd be like, this guy charges this, so I can't charge close to that because I'm not as good as him. But
I hear that a lot, especially when someone at a shop, they're like, someone's been tattooing longer than they have, and maybe they do comparable or even slightly better work, but they're significantly undercharging. This other artist is. And so then they don't feel like they can charge what they're actually worth because someone else at their shop is not charging what they are worth. And it's like the price anchor, it works in multiple ways. Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so much like restaurants and why marketing is so important. And also just deciding on a brand, like who are you? It's being the cheapest tattooer in your city is a brand if that's what you want to be.
Totally.
You can be the McDonald's of food, but you need to market yourself that way. Like,
you ever hear someone say there's no benefit to being the second cheapest in the market?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? There's a benefit to being the cheapest, right? There's going to be a cost and a benefit.
The cost is time. And like you're going to have to bust your fucking ass to like. But
what is brand? If someone was like, "What? I don't understand what brand is." Well, how would you describe it? And a lot of people describe it differently.
I think it would be the identity of your business, and I think that's like a lot of people, because we're one person creating something, we don't think about ourselves as a business, but it's a business. Like even if you work at somebody else's shop, the shop's gonna have its brand, but then you're marketing yourself. Like who is John Doe? As a tattoo artist, that's your business. People walk around and tell people your handle when they look at the tattoo. They're coming to your business page to look at your business. What is the identity of it? Like if the identity of it is just, I mean, for me, I think when I think brand, I think like logo and color scheme. And
that's what everybody thinks, but that's not what brand is.
No, it's not. I think it's for an individual, it's going to be your personality, and that can come out in a lot of different things. I talked to my coworker about this. Like it could just be a specific type of photo treatment. Like all my photos have this consistent look. My voice, the way that I like present myself. for example, the way I present myself on Instagram is how I speak to my customers. It's not how I am with my girlfriend and my homies, but this is my business.
Totally.
And at
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
this is my business voice. This is how I deliver customer service, and this is how
Yeah.
I'm connecting with my customers.
So
And
I'll talk about that as like there's different. You ever heard of like Carl Jung's identity archetype, like scale? So you have like the way you talk to your parents is a very different archetype than the way you talk to your clients or the way you talk to your partner. And people are like, I don't want to be fake on Instagram. Like, I don't want you to be fake on Instagram. That doesn't work. But I look at brand as it's a magnet, and a magnet has two sides, and it attracts on one side and it pushes away on the other side. And so your identity archetype, that might work really well as an artist, right? There might be a certain identity you have archetype as an artist that works really well as an artist, but it might not work well as a business. And so how do you tap into these other archetypes that exist in all of us, these different, like there's the magician, the warrior, the lover, there's like these different kind of archetypes that I talk about this stuff in marketing because it has to be talked about. Like, well, what if we brought in a little bit more of the warrior in your marketing, even though I know that's not how you are. You're more of a magician in your mystical artwork, but maybe we need to be a little bit more direct, a little more in our marketing. And again, it's not fake. It's not inauthentic. It's about finding the authenticity in how we express that in our content or in any area of life. But a lot of tattooers think you got to be fake to do it. And I was like, nah, that's not the goal.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, I guess a brand would be like, well, first of all, who's your customer? You're going to brand yourself for your customer. If you're branding your Instagram to make friends in the tattoo industry, I had a social media manager for a little bit, and his first question to me was like, he was like, we're going to make this video of you. We're going to have you talk to people like this. We're going to change your photos to this. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And he's like, how does it make you feel? And I was like, kind of uncomfortable, but I was like open to do whatever. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, I want tattooers to see this type of thing in photos. And I like, tattooers that do this type of thing. And he was like, all right, let me ask you a question. How many tattooers do you tattoo a year? And I'm like, I don't know, 10. And he's like, well, then why are you marketing to tattooers? Like this, I'm a client of yours and I'm telling you this is what I want to see. Why are you telling me what tattoo artists want to see? And I was like, yeah, you're fucking right. And I'm scared of losing friends, I guess was the thing. But then I'm like, none of my friends are going to not be my friend because I have more clients or something.
Right. I always tell that if someone that is in your circle is going to judge you harshly or negatively because you tried something new in your marketing, is that person even really your fucking friend?
No, they're not. And I've dealt with tons of that, but that doesn't even matter. It really doesn't matter. Like if you love tattooing, you have to tattoo somebody. If you have to do something to get that person to come in and get tattooed, then you need to do that thing. And then that is where the brand is like, who is the client? How are you going to connect with them? And you get to make that choice. It could be fake and you could be being goofy and funny on the camera because that's what you think. Like, sure, that's the brand. You just decided that. Now that's your brand. You didn't have to make that decision. But your brand can just be photos. It's probably not going to get as much engagement. That's you ignoring marketing, one-on-one and like what's working. But you get to choose what your brand is. But first you need to realize like what kind of clients.
Do you know why just pictures doesn't work on Instagram? I'm gonna get right back to this podcast, but just a quick marketing tip that most tattooers don't know is studies have shown that at any given time, roughly 3 to 5% of your Instagram followers are ready to buy from you right now, and another 20% would likely buy from you in the next 6 months. So if you're a tattoo artist with over 1,000 followers on Instagram, you're probably sitting on a ton of potential clients that you're just not tapping into. So I want to show you a repeatable process for gaining more followers and turning them into clients quickly, often within 24 hours. If that sounds interesting to you, just hit the link in the caption below, schedule a one-on-one marketing strategy session, and as soon as you book it, I will immediately send you a pre-session assignment to do. You can start doing this today to book more tattoos before your strategy session. Now, I do charge a small fee for this, and I'm going to give you my 10x guarantee. You might be wondering, what the fuck is that, Ryan? So basically, if you don't feel like this assignment and the one-on-one session was worth 10 times what you paid for it, I will give you a full refund. No questions asked. You have nothing to lose. I know as soon as you do this assignment alone, you're going to know that it was worth 10 times what you paid for it. I've already had hundreds of tattooers sign up and tell me that. So if for any reason you are not satisfied, I'm happy to refund you. Now, if you're not willing to step outside your comfort zone when it comes to social media marketing, this is probably not for you. But if you're tired of struggling on social media and you want a repeatable way to attract new clients during any season, then hit that link below, get all the details, and schedule a marketing strategy session. All right, back to the podcast. Do you know why Just Pictures doesn't work on Instagram?
Because they're competing with TikTok and they want you to be on Instagram more than TikTok. So they're making videos and reels and these slides.
So and again, this is my theory, but I think it's very simple. I don't think it has to do with competing with TikTok. I think it has to do with why what TikTok has done is successful. So the reason they want to be more like TikTok is very simply that at the end of the day, all marketing it's a transferring of emotion, right? So identity, transferring emotion. How do you transfer an emotion? Well, you communicate something, anything. And while a sick fucking tattoo can communicate something, I'm not saying it doesn't, but it doesn't communicate in the same way that language communicates. And language comes in two forms. It comes with words on a screen and being talked out of your mouth. And that's really simply the reason why just plain images don't do as well on Instagram as, say, they used to, is because it's simply not communicating anything. And if you just simply had words on your pictures and a little bit of some voiceover work, just a little bit, it would incredibly increase the engagement and views of your content.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing I would tell someone to do, I do this, and I used to do this. Well, actually, I'll circle back to something I did in the beginning, because I've been doing this my whole career. But when I scroll on social media, I pay attention to things that grab my attention. And I'll even go to the Discover page, and I'll be like, why did I just watch this whole fucking video of a guy breaking up concrete? Like, what? I watched the whole thing. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know? And I ask myself why, and I try to just pay attention to those. You don't need an answer right away about how you're going to apply it, but like what's grabbing your attention. And that can be your brand. Like, this is your emotion. I'm attracted to these things. These things, I enjoy watching them, whether I wanted to tell people that or not. Maybe that's something I should do with my own business. This is stuff I'm identifying with, stuff that's grabbing me emotionally or entertaining wise. And maybe I should do some of the similar things. But when I started getting really busy with social media, the first thing I did was I did the same thing. I started looking through tattooers, and without looking at their following or their name, I would pay attention to if I stopped and looked. And if I stopped and looked, I would think about why. And I started realizing that it wasn't so much the tattoo. It was a lot of the time, this is like 12, 13 years ago, it was like presentation. And at first for me, it was like a professional photo. So I started editing every photo and putting a black background. And at every convention I would go to, every tattooer or even clients would be like, how do you do that? It looks so nice. And it's so silly. Now it's really easy, but then it was a little harder. And that was like, I was standing out in the feed because my stuff looked like me. I always had a black background and everybody else had paper towels behind the tattoo. And at some point, everybody started taking professional photos, and I noticed, and it's like, I don't stand out anymore. Everybody has a black background, so like, what can I do different? I went the opposite. I started taking pictures with like my tattoo shop in the background, and now I'm doing the polar opposite, and then that started standing out.
There's a book called Zag. There's a marketing book called Zag. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's literally like zig when everyone else is zagging.
Yeah.
That's the whole concept. Like, if you want to stand out in a saturated market, you have to do what everyone else is not doing, and then you stand out. It's simple.
Yeah, and that's what I told my coworkers recently when we were talking about this. I was like, if I was to try to be different right now, I'm not focused on marketing because I have consistency, which is nice. But if I was going to, I would look at what everyone's doing and I'd figure out how to do something totally different. And I think that for me right now would be like customer engagement. Like, I would be, if everybody's marketing on Instagram, I'd be marketing on Facebook and maybe Craigslist. And like, I'd be just fucking blasting shit everywhere. I'd be putting up pieces of paper on light posts around town, and I'd be going and making coasters and putting them at the local bar near my house. And outside of that, I would, if I have no tattoos to do, like I'm sitting around at the shop, I'd be giving away free tattoos. I'd be like, you're getting a back piece and I'm doing whatever I want and you're coming in. And I'd be making content, like videos of me doing it, because I can take that time from that client because they're not paying me.
Sure.
And I'd be promoting it and putting it on the internet. And I did that with one of my coworkers. He gave away like a couple backs and a sleeve. And then I told him, I guarantee if you give away a back piece, you'll book 6. And he booked 5. So I was one off. 5
Amazing.
back pieces just by giving one away. That was really good.
I love it. It's a great strategy. Yeah.
But that's what I did when I started. Like, I had no traditional tattoos to do. All I did was walk-ins, and I didn't want to share any of them. Every day at 7 o'clock at night when we closed, I'd give away a free tattoo 5 days a week to a friend, and I'd do whatever I wanted, and I was posting a new tattoo every day. Nobody knew I wasn't getting paid for it, but I built this like momentum of traditional tattoos where all of a sudden I started
until the point where you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, but it's all effort and momentum. Like, if you just sit on your ass and do fucking nothing, like nothing is gonna happen. And I think I tell my coworkers too, like every single day, all day long, I think about work. And like, if I don't have something to do, I'm doing something for the future. I'm creating a new t-shirt design, or I'm thinking about how I might change the website, or I'm editing photos to put on the internet. And that stuff is so important. I mean, another thing that a single artist could do is make a Google account for yourself instead of the shop, and get reviews on there and promote those. And people are going to find you and look you up, and you're going to be able to take that with you to other places. But
there's so many people that tell me, they're like, well, I'm like, okay, so you took a 50% pay cut over the past 2 years. What have you done to attract new clients? And they're like, not really, not a whole lot. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, I don't know where to start. And I'm like, okay, why don't you go on Google and type in how to market local service-based business? Like, have you ever just Googled that? And they're like, no. I'm like, why not? Like, there's so many things that you could do. You just have to start somewhere. You don't even have to start in the right spot, but start somewhere, do it, be consistent, tweak it, and then improve over and over, rinse and repeat. And then you build the structure, you build the systems, you build the consistency over time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, you're never going to know how to do it or what to do until you start doing it. And everything we're talking about is just standard business acumen.
But in tattooing, it is like no one's talking about. I don't hear other people talking about this,
No, they don't. But I think that's the biggest advantage. Like, anybody listening right now, I would say 90% of tattooers are not treating their business like a business. And the first person to do it is going to be the busiest person. And you're going to get farther ahead of everyone. This is like using a Dan Cuban when nobody wanted to. And then now all of a sudden everybody is like, or not using the iPad or not using Instagram. Like, the longer you wait, the further behind you're going to get. And then by the time you try to catch up, everyone's going to be on meta advertising. Everyone's going to be posting videos, and it's not going to work for you again because you waited too long. It's like the first person to do it is always the person that gets to reap the rewards, and you're the one that stands out, and then you're the one that led the pack. What comes with it is feedback and negative attention. Like, every time I've done something new in the tattoo industry, somebody doesn't like me for it, and then a year later everyone's doing it, and because it works. And when you do something different, it's going to feel different, but just do it for your clients. And that's your brand, is like, what do your clients want? What do your clients appreciate from you at the shop that they don't get from you on the internet? And for my clients, it's customer service. I
think it's scary to do something different for people. One, because there's no certainty that it's going to produce a result that you want. And two, people will not understand why you're doing it, and people judge what they don't understand. And so I think that's literally the two things that are stopping people. Is like, there's uncertainty, and I'm probably going to get judged. I'm probably going to look bad. I'm probably going to look... So, like, what's stopping you from growing your business if you want to grow your business and it's not? I'm a big Alex Hormozy fan, and he always says, like, the ability to be willing to look stupid more and longer than other people is probably one of the most like important skill sets that you could develop is just be willing to look dumb, and
But
your
also,
life will
like,
expand.
who thinks you're dumb? Because I guarantee if
People that don't pay your bills think you look dumb. That's who thinks you look dumb. People that do
That's what I
not
was
pay your
gonna
bills,
say.
people that do not root for you to win. They're not like, if I did something and Austin, you called me up and you're like, "Hey Ryan, like, I don't know about that." Like, I would listen. I wouldn't think you were judging me because I think you genuinely want me to win. I genuinely want to see you win.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take that as like a bad, but like someone on the other side of the planet that doesn't fucking know you and leaves a nasty comment. You know how many nasty comments I get on my content all the fucking time? Ryan's fucking gay, scam artist, whatever the fuck. I'm like, okay, cool. It's not for you. No problem.
Yeah, and that's just what comes with it. I mean, but it's not going to be. I mean, maybe it'll be a client. I get a client every once in a while that says something, but they're not a client. They're not somebody coming to get tattooed. They're not.
No.
They don't connect with my brand. And just think about every brand. Like, you don't buy every shirt on the internet. You don't go to every restaurant on the street. You don't get coffee at every coffee shop. You pick the one that fits.
Even look at Nike or some other brand and be like, fuck that. I'm never be caught dead wearing that. You might feel that way. Good. You should feel that. That means they're doing their job if you feel that way. Yeah.
Exactly. You're not part of their community. And that's like,
that's it.
That is a difficult thing. And it's also a beautiful thing of tattooing. Like, I was just at a tattoo convention and it was so communal. And like, I realized.
Which convention was it?
Pagoda City.
Yeah. I've never been, but I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah, and I realized like why I care so much about what my peers think, because I like them. I love being a part of the community. Like, and I want to be, and I've worked on this with my business coach. Like, I don't want to be alone. I like people a lot. And it's why I started tattooing. I like people and I want to connect with people. But I do find that like the older I get, I want people coming to get tattooed and people guesting at the shop and people wanting to work for me that are like-minded. And the more that I put myself out there, the more I push people away, but I also bring people closer that connect with me on a deeper level. And my life is
that's the magnet. Yeah.
It does integrate, like, it does encompass having some of that discomfort of people not liking you, which sucks, but I feel confident about who I am, and I don't want to invite people into my life that don't like me for who I am. So if you decided that, but also like, that's the crazy thing about Instagram is like, this isn't me. This is my tattoo business. Like, I've had friends tell me like, dude, this is so fucking cheesy, or this is so annoying. And I'm like, unfollow me. You have my phone number. We hang out. We get dinner. You don't get tattooed by me. Like, I'm not posting this.
I love that response. I love that.
Yeah. Like, this isn't for you. This is for my customers that come and get tattooed, and they like it. All of them. That's why it's working. Like, my following continues to grow. My books continue to be filled, and I get to do tattoos all the time, and they're awesome and fun, and my clients are great, and it's because of connecting with people. And like, I mean, that is my brand. My brand, like, I want to connect and inspire. Like, I want to put things that are inspiring out there, whether it's a tattoo or a video, and I want that to invite people in that are similar to me so that I can connect with them, because connection's my favorite part of the job. And I don't get to connect with people if I don't put that effort out. And that effort doesn't have to be on the internet, though. It can be all the other things we talked about. You can do boots on the ground marketing.
It can absolutely be anywhere. And the most eyeballs just happen to be on social media. So
There's no one else where you can reach 1 million people.
Right. It's like, you can just do local marketing. Absolutely. But the most eyeballs are on social media. So I like to make it easy on myself, and I just like to go where the most eyeballs are if I'm trying to get seen, Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's all coming down to terms of like, what is your brand, like you asked, and your brand should be thinking about your customers. Like, what kind of customers do you want, and like, what kind of customers do you have that you really love and you want more of, and what do they like about you? Like, that's your brand. And like, sometimes that means like cutting things out. Like, you got to cut the fat. Like, if the people that you really like come to you for a specific style, or they come to you because of a specific post or something they connected with, and you have really good experiences with them, and they value your time and your value monetarily, then that's the brand you want to continue. Cut the fat of the other stuff and push more of that. And I think standing out is the most important thing, and you have to stand out in a crowd, and that's a part of it too. Like, are you going to stand out locally or globally? Like, what kind of restaurant are you in your town? Like, think about it that way. Am I the cheap one? Or am I the 3 Michelin star restaurant? And if you're the 3
That's a
Michelin
good way of
star
thinking about it. Like, what kind of restaurant? If your tattoo business was a restaurant, what kind of restaurant would it be?
Yeah,
You don't need to be right. You don't have to be a 3 Michelin star. You could be like the local fucking diner that everybody fucking loves and goes to. Right? They're not the best food in the world, but they come like. But just pick, and what are you right now? And if you're not happy with that, or whatever that isn't actually working for you, then decide on, what kind of restaurant would you have right? You follow that page, If Tattoos Were Food? Do you follow that page? No? Dude, it's so fucking funny. It's like comparing the tattoo industry to the food service industry. Yeah, the fact that you worked in a restaurant. Dude, look up If Tattoos Were Food. It's a great Instagram page.
That's a good example, the diner thing, because, like, why do people go there then if the food's not good? It's probably the atmosphere and the customer service.
It's not bad food. It's just not the best food.
Yeah.
But it's reliable. It might be reliable. It might be a vibe. It might be an energy. Honestly, Seth Godin is a marketer. He wrote This Is Marketing. He has this thing that there's a subconscious thought that people think, which is, do people like me buy things like this? And so that's why people go to that diner, is because subconsciously they think, oh, people like me go to diners like this, right? And we go here. And so that applies to literally any service or product that's being sold, is subconsciously do people like me get tattoos like this? And so having your brand speak to that person, not just the imagery, but the overall feel of the diner or the restaurant, the feel of I always tell people, think of your whole Instagram page like it's your storefront. Yeah. What's the feel? If someone's passing by, right, they're visiting your page, what makes them, a follower is a walk-in. So what makes them actually walk into the shop and start to follow you? And think about it from that perspective, and you'll probably see a couple changes that you should make almost immediately.
Yeah, that's what I used to pay attention to. Like, if I guess I missed that part. If I looked at a photo and I decided to look at it, what made me click on the profile, because that's important, instead of scrolling past. And then once I'm on the profile, what made me scroll past the third row? And if I went past the third row, what kept me from following them or going back up and following them and trying to do the same thing on my page? Which,
the fact that you're even thinking that way is, to me, very advanced. It's not most people, I don't think, are internally have that sense of awareness or are asking themselves those questions and then trying to execute on that. So it's, I love that you're sharing this so that other people can be like, oh, that's an interesting, I never even thought to approach it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think, like, one thing I tell my coworkers is, like, I think one thing that we talked about, that breaking the barrier or people being, like, nervous, is, like, if you spend every day going on your social media and you're getting new followers, like, connect with them. Even if you created a system for that, you could make an automated system to send welcome DMs, but just say, like, thanks for following my page. If you ever want to talk about getting tattooed, just let me know.
Automated welcome DMs go against Instagram's rules.
There's ways to do it, though.
Oh, yeah, you can do it. And I use DM automation, but I don't do that one because you could technically, get banned or whatever. So
I don't do it.
I do like reaching out to followers and just introducing yourself. I think it's a great strategy, like break the ice. But I just don't want to recommend things to people that
don't be lazy. Just do it yourself. I didn't tell them to automate it. I said just spend.
Yeah. It exists out there, but I don't recommend it. Austin, we're probably going to wrap it up in a minute, and I was interested in hearing more about ego management. Do you want to just share a little bit about that, or we can always talk about it another time?
Yeah, I think, like, the simplest thing is all this stuff we're talking about. Like, if you're going to do all this shit we just said and focus on your business, like, you're not going to have time to do anything else. And what I found has made me the most successful in business is paying people to do the things that are not my zone of genius, like we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I should be focused on tattooing and creating and making artwork, or even making the ad, whatever it is. That's my job. And the rest of it, is really, really important. Like every restaurant has somebody paying attention to how much money they made, or like doing their meta advertising, or managing their Google account, or whatever, serving the customers. Like, and that's what we do, but for finance. So everything financial related. And this stuff I feel like most tattooers aren't doing, but year-round bookkeeping is like the most important thing for my financial success, and leveraging that towards a goal. So I started Eagle Management because I wanted to buy a house, and I felt like I was never going to be able to do it. And once I figured out how much money I needed to make and what I had to pay in taxes to file that, I started paying attention to it every day. And I realized that I was spending more time focusing on my finances and less on tattooing, and I wasn't even going to be able to reach my goal. What I needed to do was go tattoo more so I could make the amount of money I needed. And I ended up starting to use all these companies like Bench, and I was using these other tax filing companies. I ended up spending like $12,000 in a year on having somebody manage my stuff year round. And
oh my God.
At the end of the year, they didn't understand anything about my business. I had tons of tattoo expenses marked as income because they didn't know what they were. They weren't asking me questions. I feel like it was kind of predatory too. Like they kind of saw me as somebody that wouldn't know or wasn't going to go through it. And so they just did lazy shit, but charged me a ton of fucking money.
I've definitely experienced that myself with financial service professionals. And that was one of the things that inspired me to get into it. Was like, I don't want other tattooers to feel this way, to feel like someone's not treating you with the utmost respect that they would treat anyone else, you know?
Well, that's the thing, is I don't think we would even know, because we don't even know how to audit a return or do our own bookkeeping. We just get taken advantage of. And sometimes it's not on purpose. Sometimes like a CPA might just have never worked with a tattooer, so they don't know to ask.
Sometimes they're just shitty CPA. Like there's shitty tattoo artists. Most CPAs, in my experience, fucking suck. Like I've encountered that so much that, yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, also most of them aren't CPAs; they're just tax preparers. Like
sure, yeah.
ID. I never filed people's taxes, but I could. Like, yeah. Most people say they're a CPA and they're really just filling out your return. They don't know shit about tax law. So, what Eagle Management is, we do it all for you. We do all year bookkeeping. We do all quarterly tax filings. We help with all tax compliance. If you get a letter from the IRS, we call them for you on your behalf. We call the franchise tax board. And at the end of the year, we make sure we file your tax return with like every efficiency possible. And that's what I do, is I train our team to understand our profession. Like, ask everybody if they have a home office. Like, write off everybody's vehicles. They're using them 90% for work. Look for these expenses. If they're not in their bookkeeping, they're somewhere else. Like their home internet is for work. Their cell phone is for work. Like, these are things that we end up overpaying as somewhere up to $2,000 to $5,000 to $15,000 with some people, just because our CPAs aren't asking these questions. And then we feel like we have no money, and it's all because we're using the cheapest service. Like, tattooers are going and using TurboTax, but then I get tattooers that ask me questions like, am I a sole proprietor or an LLC? And they can't even get past the first question, which is why you shouldn't use that tool. Like, you need somebody that understands the return for you, that's taking care of you and has your best interest in mind. So that's my goal, is to help tattooers year round. You don't, like, most of our clients say, my favorite thing is I never know what's going on. You just do it for me, and I'm paying way less than I thought, and I don't have to worry about it. But what I want the most is for people to reach their goals. That's obviously relying on income, but like, we helped 4 people buy homes last year that thought they'd never buy a home.
The tax situation and the ability to buy a home situation are directly tied together, 100%.
Yeah. And I think for like pirates in tattooing, it's like, you want to think about a real pirate. It's the people you see on the news that they're like, this guy made $1 billion and paid 0 in taxes. And most of the time it's not illegal. Like, they're using the loopholes available to them, and the people doing it are professionals. They're not the ones filing their taxes. Their accountants are, and their accountants are taking advantage of loopholes. And we get to do the same thing. We own our own business 100%. And we have the same loopholes. And if you don't understand them, TurboTax isn't the place that's going to help you do it. And if you're even using something like a CPA and you're not doing bookkeeping, they can't take advantage of loopholes. They don't know where the fuck your money went or how much you made. You're just telling them numbers and they're putting them on a return. And you're not the person that should be telling them the numbers because you aren't a CPA and you're not a bookkeeper. Yeah. And that's where like all the strategy comes in. And
so if someone who's like the ideal person to like get support, is it just every tattoo artist or every sole proprietor? I'm just curious, is there like a certain...
I mean, I really want to help tattooers. Like, that's why I started it, I think. But what I realized is that anybody making their own money is somebody that deserves help. It's mostly creatives, like tattooers, barbers, hairstylists. We've got pro skaters, like gym coaches, therapists. Just somebody doing everything by themselves. And their zone of genius is not finance. And I think... I mean, anybody doing that. I think we are literally the cheapest option in the United States to get year-round bookkeeping and tax support by a long shot. And I think everybody should use it. Like, everybody should be able to know what their bottom line is and be able to look at a profit and loss and say, I made this much money this year and I have this much I have to pay taxes on. And the most important thing, I think, like, let's say you're a tattooer and you don't want to pay taxes. If you don't know why you're paying taxes or how much money you're paying taxes on, you can't avoid them. You need a profit and loss to say, this is my net income. Yeah. And this is what I tell people to do is I'm like, reinvest it back in your business. If you reinvest your net income every year in your business on growth, you're going to get to the point where you have too much money and you can't reinvest. And that's a good
problem to have. Yeah.
Yeah. You end the year and you say, I'm going to make that flash book to sell that I've been saying I'm going to, and it's going to cost me 20 grand. And you do it. And next year that 20 grand turns into 100. And now you can't spend it all on your business. You're in the position to start
pay some taxes on it, but that's fucking not a problem. If you're paying taxes, it means you made money.
Yeah. It means you made too much money, which is fucking awesome. And I think people using digital payment, like in the next 2 to 5 years, like with AI and the way the IRS is going to use it and the way banks are going to use it and the way Venmo and Zelle and fucking all of these, PayPal, they're going to be figuring out what money is not being funneled through the tax system. Like, our economy is suffering. The United States wants more money and they want it from us. And they're going to start looking in all the areas you're hiding. And if they come back and they Google your name online and can find out you've been tattooing for the last 10 years. And this is what my lawyer told me. He's like, think about a tattooer living in California. If you're claiming you made $20,000 net income, but the address on your return has a rent of $4,000 a month, the IRS can just say, well, you lied about your income off 20 grand. You're paying $40,000 a year, $48,000 a year in rent, and you only made 20 grand, audit you.
Right.
And that's the kind of shit that AI is going to start doing. But I don't know. It's not about scare tactics. For me, it's about like just understanding your business and what you can do with it. If you don't understand,
I would say it's about goals. And I feel like that's from every conversation I've had with you about your mission with Eagle and everything that you do is, like you said, you wanted to be able to buy a house. You wanted to be able to invest for your future. And you couldn't do those things until you solved the tax problem. And I think helping tattooers build financial stability and security, because at the end of the day, it's not enough to just pay the fucking bills. Like, that sucks. It does. I'm not judging. It sucks. And to have more than enough and to put money into an asset, to know that every tattoo you do, a portion of that is being invested in an asset that's growing and earning you more money, that's peace of mind. And, you know, that's what you're helping people do. So I think it's very commendable and awesome that you're fucking doing it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just agency. One, you have more time to focus on your business. And two, you have the agency to look at what a team of professionals prepared for you to understand your business. And then it's on you. One, now you have more time. What are you going to do with it? And where are you going to press to reach your goal? If you need to end the year making 10 grand more, well, now you have more time on your plate and you have a report to tell you like, well, I can cut costs in all these areas to have more money. Like, I should not spend 60 grand a year on shop meals or something. You know, like, that's the biggest one I see is like people.
That's not even a real expense. I mean, they try, But that's a big red flag on a tax return. If your meal expenses are through the roof, it's like, is this really a business expense?
My business here. I think it depends on what. Like, that would be a tattoo shop owner. Like, I buy lunch for the shop all the time.
Sure, that's a legitimate expense. Yeah.
But at some point, I literally started asking my coworkers, like, I need you guys to contribute, or we gotta like barbecue or something, because it's just fucking crazy. Like this, it doesn't sound like a lot when it's $100 here or there, but when you look at the report at the end of the year, you realize, like, fuck, dude, I could have, like, I don't have any money, and I could have had way more if I didn't do this. And we could still have fun and feed each other, but let's just do it differently. And you can do that with everything, even it's supplies. Like, you're like, I'm ordering everything. That was a big thing for me. Like, I was ordering stuff like when we needed it, but there's all these supply companies that offer free shipping and 10% discounts if you order over this amount. I switched to quarterly ordering and ordering bigger chunks, and saved like over $10,000 on supplies every year by just switching how I order it. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have a profit and loss. Yeah. And when I used to do my own bookkeeping, I wasn't doing it right, so my reports weren't really helpful.
I was telling you, it's about, in general, being proactive. If you're not proactive about your business, then you will always be reactive. You will always be reacting to your situation, your circumstances. And so you have to start to be proactive while reacting to get yourself to the point where then you're always being proactive about it. And that's peace of mind. But you're never going to get there just continuing to react to situations and circumstances, hoping that it just fucking works itself out.
Yeah, and if there's something that's really important, like the first thing I'd say is if you're treating your business like a hobby, then you need to start treating it like a business. Every area we just talked about, like marketing, finances, etc. You own a business, and these are the most important aspects to them. And it's okay if you're not good at them. Like, find out what your zone of genius is and figure out how to make the income to hire people to support you in those areas, and you will find success. There's people that want to do those things for a living that are going to help you. And that's what Eagle Management is a trusted place to go. Someone that's not going to take advantage of you, that's going to do it right and pay attention to your business, and tailored for creatives and tattooers. And that's why I built it, because when people like us, like myself, say, I need this help, and I go to find it, I was getting taken advantage of, to the point where I realized if my friends went here, they wouldn't be able to audit this work and say, I'm getting taken advantage of. Yeah. And they would just get taken advantage of forever. And that feels unfair to me. And I think it's because enterprise companies are building stuff to take advantage of small businesses. So we're going the other way around. Small businesses building stuff for you to take advantage of them.
I like it. Dude, I fucking love this conversation, Austin. Like, it's refreshing to talk to a tattooer that takes the art of tattooing as seriously as the business. It's like they go hand in hand. One doesn't need to be more important than the other. They support each other. And to me, then the business becomes an expression of your artistry, your creativity. And it's just awesome to see you killing it. Where can people find you and find out more about Eagle, and if anyone wants to get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can just go to my Instagram at Austin Maples with an M, and there's a link in my bio for everything, for my shop, for Eagle Management's Instagram, and should be able to walk you through all the websites. Cool. You can send us DMs.
I'll have my editor grab links and put them in the caption too for the episode. So cool.
Yeah, dude. And I'll say, if anybody listen to this, like right now, if you book a call with Eagle Management, it's with me. Like, I'm just talking to small business owners, and we're not taking people on that don't fit. Like, I want to know about your business, what your pain points are, and like if we can actually help you. If we can't, then I'll probably just give you free advice on what to do so that you can get there, and when you're there, it will help.
All right, if you found this episode helpful, one of the best ways for you to help other artists is to share this episode. Leave a review and subscribe. It helps other people find my channel, and you never know what a difference it might make for someone else. Plus, I will forever be grateful for your support, so I just want to say thank you and have a great rest of your day.